There is nothing wrong with your podcast streaming service. We now control your device. This is not a test. This is podcast of the paranormal. Close your curtains and stay away from your windows. Lock your doors, turn off your lights. Get your snacks and drinks ready. Get to your basement or attic. The podcast is about to begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podcast of the Paranormal. It's Jody. I'm here with Gab.
Hello, it's Gabrielle.
How's it going, Gab?
Good. How about you?
Everything is good.
So, for today's episode, I chose and researched our topic, and Jody's going into this with no knowledge of what I chose. So, do you want me to tell you what the topic is, or do you want me to just start? I mean, you're going to figure it out pretty quick.
Sure.
Okay. So, we are going to be discussing when we investigated Bube's Brewery in Mount Joy.
Oh, you mean boobs?
Boobies.
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 B-U-B-E-S.
Boobies. So this was a trip that Jody and I took for my birthday for a weekend. We went to the brewery for the investigation, and we also planned to explore in Lancaster for the day.
That's where the horse and buggies are, right?
Yeah, that's, what did they say? Amish country.
That's Amish country.
Yeah, there's a heavy Amish population and community within the Lancaster County area in Pennsylvania. Lancaster. So we spent the day, we explored in Lancaster for the day. Then that night, we investigated at Bube's Brewery. And now, Jody, you've been to Lancaster before, but I was not there. So this was my first trip, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went, 20 years ago, something like that. I don't remember any of it.
So what did we do in Lancaster? We went to the Central Market.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about that all the time. And what do you always talk about there that you have to get? You always talk about them.
Oh, I have to get the cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
The sticky buns, yeah.
Yeah, you always talk about them.
Yeah, but.
We got there and they were gone.
It was too late.
Yeah, we got there
late. 1 o'clock in the afternoon somewhere around there?
Yeah, probably.
So all the good breakfast stuff was gone and no sticky buns for me.
No sticky buns. Nope.
Got some nice empanadas, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good.
Calabrese empanada.
Well, I didn't eat them.
Yeah.
But they looked good.
Yeah, so like if you're ever in town there, the market's a great place to go. Get there early. Get there for 9, 10 in the morning, I'd say.
Probably at least that early, if not earlier.
I mean, we didn't miss out completely.
No, because you got those empanadas.
Yeah, and I got my coffee.
We got coffee.
I got coffee, yeah. Some whole bean, fresh coffee, fresh roasted. Lancaster Brewing Company, right? I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Jody loves coffee, so when we travel or just even take any kind of trip, we're always looking for coffee. Coffee and beer, because Jody also likes beer.
Yes,
That's the two things we search for. And then we did some shopping. We found the Lancaster Troll Market.
Oh, yeah, the Troll Market. That's right. Yeah. I just ruined that shirt. You know what that means?
We have to go back.
We have to go back.
I know,
get
we've been
shirt.
saying that.
I got friggin' paint on that shirt. I'm so mad. I wore that shirt all the time. That was my comfort shirt.
It was soft.
We should go back.
Maybe they have a new design now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I still like the old design, the old black and white, the black shirt
cool.
with the white,
with
the troll on it, and all of his trinkets hanging and dancing in his little socks.
Yeah, it's a cool little place. Definitely worth a check out too if you're in.
Yeah,
Lancaster.
remember they had the windows in that place? They had the windows that were like TV screens. It looked like outdoor fantasy.
Yeah,
themed.
it's a really they picked a theme and they carried it out everywhere. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and of course they had all the Harry Potter stuff for all the Harry Potter people. You could buy a wand and stuff there.
Yeah.
And magic books. And
yeah, but it's
very medieval.
Yeah, medieval market feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, it's an interesting store. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then we found a game store, Farbo game store.
Is that the name of it?
Farbo, yeah. And I got the journal game that you make fun of.
You're getting that from your notes?
Yeah.
Because I can't remember any of this shit.
No.
No. Could I open your notes now? Yeah, I'm going to open your notes now.
Okay.
I'm going to follow along here.
You could do that.
Now that I know what's going on.
And then
tricky.
We had dinner that night at Bube's because we wanted to kind of check it out before we investigated.
Yes, and they have beer there too, right?
Yeah, and this was a late investigation, right? I think. It was 9 or 10 it started.
I believe it was 10 o'clock. I want to say
right.
10 o'clock. Yeah, because it's after, I guess they schedule their investigations after the main crowd sort of gets out. So to put this into perspective, it's a restaurant / brewery /
hotel, paranormal investigation spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a whole thing going on, right?
Yeah, they do. Multifaceted.
And it's pretty separated, too. It's not like they advertise, like, come here, hunt some ghosts, and then have a beer, you know what I mean? It's like...
it's like compartmentalized.
So they have two main restaurants. There's one that's basically bar fare.
Yeah.
That is in the bar area. They have some fresh beer on tap and, typical bar food, burgers, sandwiches, steaks, whatever you want, right? And then downstairs, they have more of a fine dining sort of deal going on down there, if I recall.
Yeah.
The catacombs.
Yeah. It's really nice down there. It's really interesting. Yeah. And we stayed at the Airbnb across the street, the Malt Baron's.
The Malt Baron's house.
Yeah. And you can actually rent that through the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
You can rent a room. Well, it's not really a room. You rent like a floor.
Yeah.
And then I guess you could probably rent the whole house too if you were interested.
I would imagine, yeah.
Beautiful home. It's absolutely stunning.
So if we want to get a private investigation going with a bunch of friends, we could probably rent that whole house out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful home. And then the next morning, we went and explored the local shops before we left, remember?
Oh, yeah.
They were like a few blocks away. And then before the investigation that night after we had dinner.
You're just all over the place now, aren't you?
Sorry. Before the investigation, we took a little nap like we do because I made Jody walk around all day.
Well, the important thing is that we didn't sleep through the investigation.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because we've done that before.
We slept through an investigation?
Well, I mean, a little private thing. We stayed at a bed and breakfast one time, and we decided to take a nap, and that was it for the night.
Oh, yeah. When we planned to investigate, but then ended up sleeping the whole night instead of just napping a little bit.
I guess it happens sometimes, right?
Yeah, it does.
So anyway.
At least once.
Let's bring this back on track here.
To talk about boobies.
Yeah, let's talk about boobies.
Boobies is an intact 19th century brewery. It dates back to 1803. It is the only lager era brewery that is still in existence. So let me paint a picture for everyone. Imagine it's the 1800s. Americans are loving German lager style beer. In the 1860s, there's a brewery boom in the United States. Hundreds of breweries are being established at this time. That's where we meet Alois Bube. Alois is a German immigrant, and he was a brewing apprentice in Germany. He purchases the brewery in 1876. It was expanded several times under his ownership, including to add a Victorian hotel. And the hotel, one of my favorite parts about this place, the hotel has a post out the front where people would tie their horses in the late 1800s.
Oh, yeah. It was metal, right?
Yeah.
It was like tarnished. It had some patina on it.
Yeah. So you could literally go there and just touch this post, and it's like you're touching something that existed in the 1800s.
Allegedly.
That
it could
is
be
cool.
Could be a recreation. But
it could be, but it's cool. So Alois grows his reputation. He's known as a good brewer. He's an honest businessman. And then unexpectedly, 1908, he passes away at the age of 58.
Yikes.
Just before the start of Prohibition in 1920, the brewery is closed, but Alois's family, they remain here until the 1960s. And this is one of the very few lager-style breweries that remain intact at the time of its operation. So the brewery in 1968 was restored, and the restorations, they're continuing to this day.
So I guess like the important thing here is I talked about the catacombs earlier, right? Now it's a restaurant.
Right.
We didn't really get to see the restaurant, operating because we'd gone down there after everybody left when it was time to do our investigation, right?
Yeah.
But the important thing about the catacombs is that in the past, that's what they used to age out the beer, right?
Right.
To ferment the beer in those big casks, right?
Right.
Because it's underground, and that always keeps the temperature at a low between 55 and 65 degrees, right? And that's important because of the lager beer that they're creating. It's called a lager because they use a lager yeast, right? It's a specific type of yeast that does really well in cooler temperatures. So they had the perfect setup for that with the catacombs. They could make the beer, put it in these casks, pitch the yeast, and let it age out and not have to worry about the temperatures rising and ruining the beer, right? So it's perfect for it. Like that underground environment is perfect. So that brings up my next point, or your next point, I should say. Do you want to talk about the building across the street? That's now basically a B&B.
The Airbnb, yes. So we stayed at the home of everyone's favorite malt baron, Philip Frank. So Philip came to America.
How is he everyone's favorite malt baron?
I don't know.
I've never heard of the guy.
I know. That's why I said it.
And now he's everybody else's favorite malt baron. Everybody who's listening.
Right.
Yes.
We all have a favorite malt baron now, and it's
Do
Philip Frank. Yes.
Oh my God.
And I'll tell you why. Philip came to America from Germany in 1851. In 1856, he started a small brewery and malt business that he later sold to Alois Bube. And do you know what he was called? What they called someone who owned like this malt business?
Is it a malt master?
Maltster.
No, I was close.
Yeah.
Maltster.
Good nickname. What's up, Maltster?
Is that synonymous with malt baron then, I guess?
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. You're like a maltster until you're like knighted, and then you're a malt baron.
Is that how that works? Do we,
I don't know.
do we knight barons? Is that
No, it's a joke. So Mr. Frank, he continues his malt making business across the street from the brewery. And in 1886, despite the number of additions and buildings that he adds to the property, he just thinks it's not large enough for his business. He's really outgrown the property. So he builds a new location for the business. People were coming from the tri-state area for his malt. So he was selling his malt all throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. So he really had a lot of business at the time.
What do you know about malt, Gabrielle?
I know that it's a grain.
More or less. It's
Like-
more like an ingredient in the beer making process.
Okay. I also know that you like to put it in pancakes.
Malt? That's malted milk powder. That's a little different.
Okay. The word malt is there.
The
That's
word
all
malt
I
is
need.
there. Okay, yeah.
That's what I need. That's all. Same word.
I used to homebrew.
Yeah.
I don't so much anymore because I just don't have the time to do it. But
Because it takes forever.
It's just a day.
A literal day.
You spend
it's
a
like
day
8 hours.
and you get 5 to 10 gallons of beer. Anywhere between 3 and 10 weeks or more later, depending on the style. So
yeah.
it's a lot of time that you have to invest into it. It's a day to brew, just to prepare the equipment and clean it all up, brew the beer, cool the beer down.
Yeah.
Or the wort down at that point, and then clean up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she hates it.
Yeah, I do like to fill the bottles though.
Oh, after it's done.
The
after
little
it's
filler.
done.
That's
when it's done
so
fermenting.
cool. I love it.
Yeah, the little wand.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the malt is an ingredient used in beer, right? The main ingredients of beer are water, wheat, barley, hops, and yeast, right?
Right.
And when I say wheat and
Do
barley...
they put hops in lager?
Yeah, it can't be a beer unless it has hops in it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it has to have hops. Those main ingredients, those main 4 ingredients or whatever. Again, grain, water, hops, and yeast. That's a beer.
Okay.
Every beer has to have those 4 things in it, right?
All right. We're all learning today.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Mine's Gab's Gab.
Gab's Gab?
Mm-hmm.
Gabby's Gab?
Just Gab. Gab's Gab.
We can't use Gabby, right?
No. Instead of saying TED Talk, I say Gab's Gab.
Anyway, so a little bit of an explanation on what malt is. Basically, malt is grain that's turned into one of the main beer ingredients, right? They take the grain, whether it's wheat or barley, they lay it out, they sprout it, and then just as it sprouts, they take that and then they put it in, say, like a hearth or like an area to dry it really quick. So what that does is the grain basically swells up, starts to create energy in the seed, we'll call it, right? Swells up and starts to sprout to get that plant ready to grow. So what you do is you stop that process right then and there. And what that does is that keeps the grain from growing anymore at that point, right? And when you're roasting it, you're converting those starches down into like basic starches that are easy to convert into sugar. There is enzymes and starch in that grain now after the sprouting process, right? And then the brewer would take that and they'd put that in when they are mashing the grain. And what that does is that converts the grain starches into sugar.
Okay.
So once you are done with that process of mashing, you have wort. You remove the grain from that wort, and basically you have a liquid that is basically like sugar water derived from the grain. And that is the main backbone of the beer.
Okay. So
Right.
that's why it's so important in this process.
Yeah, malt is important. You can't just take grain, you can't take fresh grain and easily convert the starches into sugars. You have to sprout it first, get all that energy into the seed, get it to sprout, and then halt that process just so you can convert sugars easily to make the beer.
Okay.
Because it's like anything else. When you make wine, it's juice, and you pitch yeast into the juice, right? With beer, there's a little more involved. You're using grain,
Right.
and you're getting that sugar. You have to get that sugar derivative from something. You can make a poor man's beer where you could use like molasses and sugar, right? You could buy malt powders to make beer if you want to make a quick beer, right? But the main ingredient is that malt. And even those malt powders, they still have to malt that grain to be able to make that malt powder.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's the main ingredient. Did I go off a little bit on that?
No.
Off rails or no?
No, I think it was interesting because we understand how these all come together, like why they use the catacombs, why the malt across the street is important. He basically has everything he needs right here.
It seems like they had their own kind of like little mini economy there. Like
Yeah.
ecosystem is what I think is the right word, right?
Yeah.
Little beer making ecosystem. The boobies buying the grain from the maltster who lived literally across the street. And
Yeah. I think next year we should see about making like a ghost beer,
a ghost beer.
like a spooky Halloween beer.
For next Halloween.
Yeah, for Halloween next year.
That's a year away now at this point, huh?
I know. We have plenty of time to plan it,
Yeah.
get it going, stick it in the catacombs.
We don't have a catacombs.
I know. Call them out, Baron.
Call them up there. No. You could, believe it or not, Gabrielle, you could buy that stuff online now.
From other malt barons.
I don't think they use that term anymore.
Okay.
Honest. No, I don't. You just
Well, that's sad. They shouldn't have stopped.
the beer store, the online beer store.
The online maltster.
Yeah.
So by now, I'm sure everyone listening is a little bit curious about the catacombs that we have talked about.
Twice now, and now we're coming back to it.
Yeah.
God, we're all over the place on this one, aren't we?
That's
Jeez.
okay.
I'm not editing this. I'm not editing this to move shit around either. I'm not doing
That's
it. You
okay.
get it? You get it raw.
I mean, the beer is the star here.
You hear me? Y'all get it raw.
The beer and the boobies.
The beer and the boobies are important.
So the catacombs here are really what makes this place special. They have this underground system, and at this time they're letting you dine there. You can investigate there. If you want to dine there, you have to make a reservation, I think. So they're 43 feet underground. So you're going down underground under the brewery for the catacombs. Legend says that they even have a tunnel that at one time supplied steam to heat the mansion across the street that was owned by Philip Frank, the malt baron. And also, during Prohibition, Boobies was a speakeasy. So is this somewhere that they were able to hide any kind of contraband they might have had? Or, maybe people were they hiding down there? Because there's also a legend
right.
that it was used to transport enslaved people to Maryland as part of the Underground Railroad. I don't think anything on that is confirmed. At least it wasn't when we were there.
And refresh my
regarding the
memory.
railroad.
How did we find that out? Was that the owner that was talking about that? Or was that during the small little history tour before the...
I think it was during the history tour prior
Was it?
to the investigation they talk about it.
The owner was like right out front saying hi to everybody. I couldn't remember if it was him or if it was during the tour. Because again, we did this last winter.
Yeah, we did it, a year ago.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that is kind of the story of the catacombs and how they relate to the brewery and a little bit of their history too. Moving on to our investigation. It was interesting. It was difficult. It was contaminated.
The entire time.
Yeah. There were people using multiple devices, like all at the same time.
Well, before we talk about that, what are we used to when we go on investigations with groups?
We're used to breaking up into a group.
So say there's 25 people there in a night, right?
Right.
That could get pretty chaotic, right?
It could.
Especially if you let all 25 go out and do whatever the heck they want, right?
Right. And we've been at places that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is absolutely chaotic.
Right. So what do you consider a good group investigation? One that's usually
Organized. Something where you're broken up into groups and you're rotating. I mean, we've done investigations where it's kind of like a free-for-all, free roam, and there's no oversight, and people will just sit in one place for the entire night. Mm-hmm. And you don't have access, because if you want access, there's already people there and they're doing their own thing, and anything that you do there, you're going to be intruding or contaminating each other.
Right. So you have someone trying to capture EVPs, right?
Right. And you're sitting there doing a Estes session.
Yeah.
you know?
But, I mean, mainly EVPs, right? You're trying to get EVPs, and
Right.
everybody's talking. People
Right.
are having side conversations. There's whispering going on. Now it's contaminated. The whole thing, it's polluted, completely done, right? Like, you can't go back and re-listen to that.
Right.
And you don't know who's doing it.
You don't.
You
I
don't.
mean, there is a benefit to a public investigation, and that is the cost.
Oh, yeah. It's like $50 a head or less, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. But there's also a price that you're paying, so to speak, when you're doing a public investigation because, you know, you're investigating with other people at different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may have never investigated before, so they're absolutely green in this and they don't really know what to expect, what to do.
And then you have people like you and I that are like, we're ready to go. And
Right. And then you have people who are a little bit more experienced in how to investigate. And then the other difficulty is you have a group of people, and it's usually a large number of people. And it's difficult because you're now with like a group of anywhere, let's say from like 6 to maybe 10 people in a group. And I mean, in a really good organized investigation,
mm-hmm.
you are kind of all on the same page in your group, right? So you're all doing one thing together.
Well, not always, but it's a good way to have. Ideally, if you have a few small groups in different areas in
Right.
the location, it's easier to get all on the same page if you have a small group,
Right.
For the most part.
And I will say, when we talk about boobies being contaminated, it was not because all the groups were so close to each other. It was because people in your group, instead of everyone being like cohesive and doing the same thing, everyone was doing something different. So you might have someone in the corner doing an EVP session while you're doing an Estes session while the person next to you is trying to communicate with a cat toy or EMF meter. So it's like, you know, no one's doing the same thing.
I think we had a group of 8 somewhere around there.
Somewhere about there.
6 to 8.
Yeah.
And there was basically 2 to 3 subgroups in any
Right.
room that we went to,
Right.
all doing their own thing.
And they have a large in-house paranormal team, too.
Yes, they do.
They're one of, I think, the few places that actually do have an in-house team. So it's a dedicated team that is there consistently. They're investigating on their own, and then they're investigating with the public as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always the same team, and not every location has that. I think they're one of the only places that uses a team. There is another location that we go to frequently that uses a team, a local team, but their team seems to rotate.
Right.
It's not always a consistent team, but this team here in Boobies is a consistent team.
Right.
They're in-house, they're there all the time, and you investigate with them. So yeah, that was some of the pros and cons of that investigation. So we could talk about the incident with the Estes session that you had.
Yeah, I think they called it a Gonsfeld.
No, they called it the Estes.
Did they call it the Estes?
They did. Yeah.
They did have the red light, though, right? So it was kind of like a modified Estes
It was modified.
sort of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like a mashup of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, modifying both to make the experience that they were providing.
Yeah. So Gabrielle knows whenever I have the chance to do an Estes session, I'll take it. I mean, lately I've been, especially when we go to like these public investigations, I've done it so much on my own at this point that I'm just like, you know what, let someone else have it. If no one else wants to take it, then sure, I'll jump in and I'll do the session.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what happened here. And I said, you know what, I'll do it. Why not? Jumped into the room.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I did it is because now you're moving away from everything else that's going on in the room, right? People having side conversations and talking, you know, whatever it may be. And I thought this would be great because I'm going to be under a blindfold with headphones on, completely in the dark, sensory deprivation, all that. And I could just do what I do.
Yeah.
Why Gabrielle asks the questions, right? She'd be the questioner and I'll be the listener. Or the responder, I should say. So I did. And went into it.
Yeah.
For a very short period of time.
It was short. It was. It was just starting to get good. It takes time to get into that state. Like a relaxed, almost like meditative, trance-like state. I mean, there's really no other way to describe it.
We were just talking about this earlier tonight, actually.
Yeah, we were.
My sessions tend to start out sometimes fast right away.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it doesn't really make sense, right?
Right.
Like it's very, very, very random in the beginning.
Yeah, they
But
are.
the longer I'm in it, the more
It comes together.
It comes together. It starts making sense.
And relates to other sessions.
And yeah, sometimes, yeah. But you really have to give someone some time in there. You know what I mean? 10 minutes is not enough. 15 minutes might not be enough.
No.
I think with us, the sweet spot when we start getting the good stuff is around
like 20, 30 minutes.
20, 30 minutes in. It starts getting really good. It starts making sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was in for how long with this one?
I think it was around 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer, but not much.
Yeah. And I think you recorded it too, but I don't think we got anything.
No.
Not that made sense because it wasn't long enough.
No, it wasn't.
So the thing you have to understand about the Estes method is that there's some things that begin to happen with you physically when you start to go into a trance mode, right? So some of those things are...
He'll start to breathe differently, yeah.
Yeah, and if you listen to my my session from the Sun Inn in Bethlehem, oh boy, was I breathing differently there.
Yeah, and Jeff too during his and that investigation.
He was yep. So that's like one of the things that you start to notice. I mean, technically, I don't notice it.
No.
But everybody else notices because they often make fun of me. No, he's breathing loud. Listen how loud he's breathing, you know?
And they ended it.
Yeah, they just ended it.
As soon as your breathing changed.
Yep.
Like as soon as you got into that sweet spot, they just cut it right off.
Yep. Or it was getting into it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I
and
mean?
They said they didn't like how you were breathing and you had just, all you do was take a deep breath. That was it.
Respectfully, I think that's wrong. You know, because if you know anything about the Estes method, once your breathing pattern starts changing, that's when you're getting into that meditative state.
Right.
That's what happens when you meditate. Your breathing changes, you know what I mean? Like you get cold, you might be making odd movements with hands and moving your head.
I think too we should explain a little bit more about how they modified the Estes session.
Yeah, sure.
And at the Estes method for this. So they did have you with the blindfold. Mm-hmm. They did have you with headphones. And
the blindfold wasn't a blackout blindfold.
No.
So it was kind of, you could see through it a little, but just like you're looking through a really thick screen. I couldn't make out anything that was going on around me.
Yeah.
Just like little pinholes of light. And then I noticed it got red.
Right. Because they had a red light on you, which plays into the Gansfeld experiment.
Right.
Did you use a spirit box or did you use an app?
No, I used a spirit box.
Okay. So it was a spirit box.
Mm-hmm.
So for an Estes session, you're typically with headphones.
Mm-hmm.
You're typically with a spirit box.
Right.
And you're typically wearing a blindfold.
Mm-hmm.
And for a Gansfeld experiment, one person has half a ping pong ball over their eyes, on each eye. You have a red light focused right on you. And you have something they consider like pink noise, right? Playing in headphones. It's similar to white noise. It's got deeper frequencies. It's more like a rainfall or like leaves rustling.
But you're not totally cutting out the vision.
Right.
Right.
Right. Because you had those ping pong balls and you have some vision, but kind of like what you're saying, like you're looking through like that thick.
Yeah. Monotone. Yeah.
Monochromatic.
Yeah.
So then you have someone in another room and what they're doing is focusing on images, and the person with the headphones on, they're trying to identify the images that person is focusing on. So they don't know what they are, but they're trying to, from within their mind, get themselves into a relaxed state and then use that to focus on these images the other person is looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So what this is doing, it's attempting to test ESP or telepathy. And it's also very similar to what the Estes method does, where it's relying on that use of sensory deprivation to kind of help you. Right? You're removing the other senses.
I've seen the Gansfeld used with basically headphones as well and people asking questions, right? But you don't have radio channel switching like you would with the spirit box in the Estes method, right? So with Gansfeld, you're pretty much relying on your imagination more, like what's coming to you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whereas the Estes, it's like you're aided a little bit with that radio. And even with the Estes, I find that like a lot of the time I am starting off by repeating words.
Yeah.
And it's just a word here or there. And then the further I get into it, listening back on the recordings, I'm spewing out whole sentences, right? Now I know that's not coming through on the radio, but I'm hearing it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's my mind's eye or what, but I'm hearing it. I'm experiencing it. So yeah, I mean, their modified Estes session, I think was fine the way they did it, right?
Yeah.
But I just would have rather been in there a little longer. You know what I mean?
Right. We've talked about this, and we've talked about going back privately, because I think that's something that they offer. At least they did at the time that we went.
Yeah.
So that we don't have that large group there,
Yeah.
right? Because they were like, one of the big things they talked about before they even started the Estes was how, they're so focused on that and making sure, that you don't have your breathing change, because how that's a negative thing.
Yeah, see, I disagree with that, though.
Right, and I do too.
I mean, I get where it's coming from, because sensory deprivation experiments are done sometimes to induce stress, right?
Right.
So it's not great if you're doing it for long periods of time, like, say, days on end. But when you're only in there for like a half hour, 40 minutes at a time, and you're not doing it every day, just let the person go. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have a heart attack, I don't think. But
Right.
I
think another thing to note is, I know we've talked about this before, but I don't think that you need to have a special talent in this field, right? Just go in, be yourself, have the passion for it, the desire to learn,
right,
and grow from it, right? And it'll serve you well. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be an empath. You don't have to, have any kind of special talent to do this work.
Well, you don't need
come to you.
You don't even need a $5,000 camera. You don't need expensive equipment.
Right.
You
don't.
could literally use, a handheld recorder that's like less than $100.
Right. And I mean, one of the cheapest devices that you use is the cat toys, the little light up cat balls that are motion activated. They're popular, and we tend to have really great experiences with them.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're there with people who are, claiming to have these special talents, there's like this high need to perform, is what it feels like.
See, I don't think it was about each one of them claiming. It was, they all had their specialty, right?
Right.
You had one person that read runes, right? You had one person that was into tarot cards. I think they had two people on their team that claimed that they were either empathic or sensitive in some way.
Right.
But I mean, that's fine, right? I'm not going to judge anybody for, their practice, what they do, right? Divination's a thing. We've used it before, right?
Right.
But going back to what you're saying is, I kind of feel like when you bring a public group in, it's kind of like you have that pressure. To perform.
Right. And to get evidence for the people that are paying.
Yeah.
But what do we always say?
You're not always going to get the evidence.
Right. And that's okay.
Because there's not always activity.
Right. And that's how you know you're doing it right. It's
right.
Because you're going somewhere and nothing's happening.
And I mean, technically that night, nothing really did happen.
No, it didn't.
There wasn't a lot going on.
No.
So it's not like they were trying to lead the investigation and say, oh, yeah, that I heard a knock over there, and that's so-and-so, the ghost from, the inn in 1867, whenever, So I think that night, there was just too much going on. There were too many people. We were investigating one part of the building while the restaurant was still open. So there was music going on. And we've had that recently as well. You know, we went to an old theater and there was a lot of contamination because there was a lot of activity going on.
Yeah, especially at the end of the night. It was weird.
And I feel like we have our best experiences when it is just like a handful of us in a building and no one else,
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that was pretty much, I think that's why the night was pretty quiet. There was a lot going on. And I don't even think the bar closed when we left for the night, right? It was still going on.
I don't know. It might have been closed. There was also, I know we've had this happen before, where you're in an investigation and the person who is like familiar with the location is like naming the spirits that they think you're communicating with.
Oh, we did have a little bit of that. Yeah. And that gets on my nerves. That gets on my nerves because I don't want to have any of the history.
Right.
I want to go into it knowing nothing. So then when I go into that Estes session and I pull a name out of like thin air, if it relates, great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like it's leading, like you're leading people.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember at the beginning of the night, actually in that, it was in the hotel, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were talking about all the different entities that have been seen in the hotel and in the brewery. And I was fixated on the one corner, the room in the corner that I kept hearing footsteps in.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get that out. Hey, I hear like there's footsteps over there. It actually sounds like someone's walking around in that room. And they weren't really listening. And then finally, one of the younger guys on their team, he heard me, he came over. I said, listen, I'm hearing stuff over there. It sounds like feet shuffling, whatever it is. So So he goes over and he sits in the room.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then it happened again.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he points in the room and he's like, his jaw dropped. And I'm like, yeah, I told you. I heard something in that room. But that was pretty much the only thing we got all night, I think.
And that was really early, like in the night too, wasn't it?
Oh, the music was still going on in the bar. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That was like, I think within the first like half an hour.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty early.
Unfortunately, we don't have any recordings of it. I think
No.
we gave up pretty early on that one, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Because sometimes you just know, right? You just know that, like, you walk into an investigation, you're like, oh, this one's going to be rough.
Yeah. And there's also, like, another thing that upsets me is there's a lot of ego in this field, right? Everybody thinks they have to be the ones to get that special evidence. You know, whatever it is for them, whatever. If it's visual, if it's audio, if it's, you know, whatever it might be for them. Oh, yeah, everyone feels they need that.
You want to prove that all the goofy stuff that you're doing at night in the dark by yourself is
right.
There's a reason why you're doing it, right?
Right. And I feel like that's led to gatekeeping within the community, or like you're limiting access to things, right? Because you're participating in that gatekeeping. So, I mean, I don't know, is it due to a lack of emotional intelligence with investigators? Is it other factors at play? I sometimes even, like, when we're recording, like we're doing it, we'll say like, oh, we're not going to talk about that just yet. Then don't. Then don't. Then why are we bringing it up?
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, like don't even mention it. If you're not going to talk about it, don't mention it. And I think it's important for anyone in this field, you know, whether you're experienced in it, you're just breaking into it, it's just something that you're thinking about. Just focus on your own work and continue with your own mission, right? Just be yourself. Don't try to compete with others, just like in other things, right? Like don't measure yourself based on the success of other people. Don't get involved in the drama of the field because there is a lot.
Oh, again, as long as you have a good group of members that you're going with, I mean,
right.
A good team. That
right.
I think if you're friends and you all get along and, you know, Jeff calls you up at 11 o'clock at night just to bullshit with you. Shout out, Jeff.
Yeah.
You know, that makes a good team.
It does. You know? It does. But I mean, we're absolutely 100%. We're an open book. I mean, we would do anything to help anyone in this field. So we're here. We want to raise each other up. We don't want to tear each other down. So, I mean, if you are listening to this episode and maybe, you know, you're having feelings about the things that we're saying, just reach out, right? Come on the podcast if you want. Just have a conversation, right? Let's just talk about it. Let's investigate together, you know?
Compare notes.
Like, yeah, let's compare notes. I mean, I just feel like that's the kind of thing that isn't happening in the field a lot. Everyone is kind of like out for themselves and keeping things to themselves and not sharing things. And yeah, I think that's something we need to do together.
I think that's because everybody's emulating what they're seeing on TV.
Right.
And what you're seeing now is you're seeing a lot of these shows, they're all kind of like fighting with each other behind the scenes.
Well, I mean, a lot of the shows aren't even actively filming at this time.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah.
You know?
Except for that one.
Wrap it all up now. My favorite part of the night was the catacombs. I don't know what yours was.
Well, yeah, because even if we have problems, right? Like, we knew there were going to be a lot of people. It was going to be contaminated. And that just, I don't want to say it ruined our experience because it didn't. It really did not ruin our experience.
No.
Did it throw a wrench into the investigation a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But we still got the history of the building. And we got to go down into the catacombs and sit in the dark and look at the casks that were floor to ceiling tall.
Right.
And the dining room, which was an old, I guess, a aging room for bottle aging, I think they said.
I don't know.
The one dining room. But we got to see this really cool place.
Right.
Without, I'd say without a ton of people in it, because normally you'd visit it at dinner time, right? You'd go have dinner. It'd be full, right? So you're down there with, 20, 30 people, having a good time, learning the history.
And we got, I think, access to locations that people don't typically get.
Yeah, so it's really, it's really cool.
It was really cool. It's an amazing location.
Yeah, and if you're in the area, go check it out. Check out Boobies. They have the bar. Like I said, we went to the bar. We didn't go to the fine dining in the catacombs, so I can't speak for the catacombs. But from what I understand, the food's pretty good. Yeah. And the bar food was great. I think I got, a vegetarian burnt ends?
It was,
they're portobello burnt ends, I think.
Yeah, right? It was like a portobello, like made to be like a steak.
Right. I wanted something like a steak, but I was like, oh man, that's too heavy. I want something a little lighter. And then Gab's like, points at it on the menu, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. That's cool. I've never seen that. I'll try it. Why not?
Yeah.
Get a salad with it, some burn ends,
Yeah.
a side,
Some beer.
some beers, beers,
Some
plural.
boobies.
I didn't go crazy that night, though. I think I asked the waitress to give me, 2 of the best beers they had.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which I think, of course, was the lager, because I had to have the lager, right? And I don't remember what the other one was. Maybe a wheat beer?
It might have been. Yeah, I don't remember.
if you're in Lancaster area, check Boobies out.
Definitely do.
It's a great weekend trip. You could stay across the street or in the hotel, stay overnight. And
There's a hotel right in the property, like right in the brewery. There's a hotel attached. So you don't have to go very far at all.
And in fact, if you do it the right way, unlike us, maybe you just go the night before, do the investigation, stay overnight, and then hit up the market the next morning.
Yeah.
So you don't miss out on the sticky buns.
If you're listening to this episode and you're interested, Boobies has the paranormal aspect. You can look into investigating there. You can dine there if that's kind of not your scene. You just want to go check it out. It sounds interesting, but you don't want to, get involved in the paranormal aspect. You could go have dinner, have lunch.
Well, yeah, it's a restaurant first, right?
Yeah,
it's like a restaurant and hotel first.
And
yeah.
they also have different kinds of events there.
Mm-hmm.
They have bands, they have live music. I think they have like trivia events. They have all different kinds of events that you could look into if you want to visit as well. So, I mean, it's not just, I think they do like murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like paranormal dining. Like they're pretty active in different events. It's a really fun place.
Yep. And then the downtown's like within walking distance, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice, charming old town,
Yeah, it's
kind
a
of vibe.
really nice town.
You got a few witchy stores in there. And
Yeah, it's
kitchen
really
shops and
Yeah. Toy store. It was really cool.
yeah, it's a you can make a day trip out of it or a weekend, an overnight.
Yeah. If you are interested in seeing a paranormal investigation there, I think Ghost Hunters investigated there.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So you could watch that probably on YouTube.
Mm.
I'm sure it's there. So yeah, you could watch their investigation if you're interested in seeing an investigation.
Or if you're like me, don't,
Right.
because you don't want to have that cognitive bias there of
Yeah.
all the different spirits and lore.
Yeah.
I don't like having that before I go in. So
But yeah, we definitely talk about going back. We have to go back with Jeff.
yeah, I would love to do a private.
Yeah.
If
It
we
would
get
be
enough people
fun.
to go. So Gab, where could our listeners get in touch with us?
You can find us at podcastoftheparanormal.com.
Oh, one word.
We're also on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Podcast of the Paranormal. You can also find us on TikTok. We're Pod of the Paranormal there. YouTube, Podcast of the Paranormal. We're even on Pinterest now. Jody's daughter got us into that. Podcast of the Paranormal.
Literally
Yeah.
all the links to all of our social, everything's on the website.
Yeah.
So it's basically our website, podcast of the paranormal, oneword.com is the hub for everything. So come check us out.
Yeah, come check us out. If you're interested in talking to us, we have a contact form right there on the website. Reach out. You have questions, you want to tell your stories, you want to be a guest, you want to investigate together. We'd love to hear from you. You have feedback. You're listening to the podcast and you have some thoughts or, anything. Reach out.
Yep. And we're always looking for interviews. So if you want to come on an interview or you have a friend, maybe a buddy, share the podcast with them, share the website with them. They could contact us and they could come on the podcast and talk about their stories.
Yeah.
We're open to
definitely.
everything paranormal.
Yeah.
The weirder, the better.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.